Hey there, everyone. We are jumping onto Facebook. This is my Thursday Beyond the Forecast, but because of the impactful weather that we're not only seeing right now and have seen over the last 24 hours and what is to come, we are rebranding and we're talking about more of our storm ready alert days as opposed to the usual, which is my Beyond the Forecast or Beyond the Forecast every Thursday here at this time. What we are going to start out with is what's going to happen tonight into tomorrow, then jump into the weekend and eventually get into the colder weather for next week. I'm going to let a few more people come on in so that we can get the party started. We are talking about colder weather tonight with the fresh snowpack and the clear skies that gives us really good radiational cooling. Really can't trap any of the heat, so we drastically get a lot colder tonight. Lows will be in the single digits. Wind chills will be below zero by tomorrow morning. As we go through the next several hours, any lake effect will be falling apart. 1 a.m. you can see no more lake effect with decreasing clouds. That already brings our temperatures down into the single digits and teens, with them falling even further than that. Would not be surprised in our northern communities if we see a couple temperatures right around zero with wind chills below zero, between about 0 and -10 by tomorrow morning. Good news is we have some sunshine to start the day on Friday, so that'll be a nice start to what eventually will end later Friday night into our Saturday morning as more snowfall. Tonight's lows, you can see right around 5 for a lot of us, but a few spots will be even colder than that as the skies will continue to clear on out. And there are the wind chills by tomorrow morning. Right around 7 a.m. we have -6 for the wind chill. Not anything that will give us wind chill alerts, but still very, very cold as we go into the start of the day tomorrow. Then the heavier snow returns Friday night. We see several inches of accumulation from this first wave, and we have additional accumulating snowfall that is a possibility Saturday afternoon and evening, and even Saturday night into Sunday morning. More snow could be coming into the mix, so we could see several more inches on top of what is already out there. Then once we get past this weekend snowfall, the piece of the polar vortex comes wrapping back on in. It'll be spinning around that more stationary polar vortex that is well on off to the north. So it'll be rotating on in, and we get some very cold air for most of next week. Our next snowmaker is right around here. This is where we are going to see that system coming out of the Rockies. It is going to head to the south, pull in some moisture, and then we get our favorite four-letter word. We get more of that snowfall, which is going to be pretty heavy as we look into the overnight and morning hours, Friday night into our Saturday. This is going to be potentially still on the order of about 2 to 5, 3 to 6 inches of snowfall that falls in that time period from Friday around midnight to Saturday around noon. And then we could get even more on top of that going for the rest of Saturday into our Sunday. All is quiet for the rest of tonight once we get away from any of the lake effect. By Friday at 9 a.m., we've got clear skies, so some sunshine to start the day. Clouds will filter back on in for Friday afternoon and evening. And then by 8 p.m., snow is really starting to get going out ahead of the warm front with this system in through the Twin Cities, Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois. That is going to swing on in as we get into the overnight period, 5 a.m. on Saturday. All of us in the worst of the snowfall, which will continue throughout the morning. But this is where the question mark is. So our biggest, at least, concern right now is what's going to happen in between the first wave of snow and this snow that develops back on here. Some of the models have more of the snowfall, as you can see with this one right here. We're still seeing some snow that is being at least pushed on in. And then as we go for the rest of that time frame, we get it to filter back on in. And look, 7 a.m. on Sunday, we're back into the heavier snowfall on the north side of the low. So the first wave was with the warmer air. The second wave is going to be with that northern side, the northern extent of the low. However, there is some questions as to where the low is going to be. Where will this low, you can see the spin right about here. Is it going to be more to the south? Is it going to be more to the north? Are we all going to be in the snow shield as we get Saturday night into Sunday? And that's why there's still a ton of questions when it comes to the amount of snowfall we will see. The most likely occurrence, which we're going to talk right now, is through noon on Saturday. That's where we're stopping this futurecast snowfall. At least 3 to 5 in most cases. Some spots may be a little bit lower, some spots may be a little bit higher, but I would not say any lower than 2 and no higher than 6. So most of us will be in that 3 to 5 inch range for the Friday night, Saturday morning time frame. However, more snow is possible Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, Saturday night, and also Sunday. So we're going to add more snow to these totals, and that is going to potentially bring some pretty significant accumulation and also impacts to the entire area, just because there are still some question marks onto where the snow is going to develop later in the day on Saturday. How much of us will be in the snow Saturday night into Sunday, which could really bring up those snowfall totals if we do see the worst case scenario. The most likely scenario is by Sunday afternoon. So Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday morning, you can see the darker blue. That's about 6 to 8 inches of storm total accumulation. A lot of us will be around 6 inches of new fresh snowfall during that time period. A couple spots may jump up to 8 inches of snowfall. What's less likely is that best case scenario. That's looking more like on the 2 to 4, 4 to 6 inch range. Not out of the question. Less likely, most likely scenario, right around another half of a foot. The worst case, if we get snowfall that is nonstop from Friday night through Sunday morning in some spots, would not be surprised if we see some double-digit snowfall totals with this system. You can see in that lighter blue, that's about 10 to 12. The purple is over a foot. That's the worst case scenario. That would be the high-end forecast if the snow does not stop. There is some signs that it will stop Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening, which would bring down those snowfall totals. Could even see some freezing drizzle at that time. And that would give us that most likely scenario of those snowfall totals right around 6 to 8 inches. Friday, 10 p.m. All of Friday will be dry. We've got some sunshine in the morning. Stephen Roberts, you got about 5 inches. What city are you in? I'll send that off to the National Weather Service. I know a lot of us saw between about 4 to 7 inches of snow with this system, which was what we were expecting, with some of the higher totals happening into the thumb. 10 p.m. Friday, not a whole lot happening, just a lot of clouds. It's after midnight that the snow swings on in. 4 a.m., all of us in the heavier snowfall. And then again, this is where the question mark is. How much of this snow is still going to be here once we get into the afternoon? This model says it's not going to stop. We're going to see these higher end snowfall totals, but other models have this completely dry time frame, 1 p.m., drying on out, and we see drier conditions for the afternoon. We get some freezing drizzle. You can see that this model also breaks it up. We get a little bit drier into the evening, which is a possibility, and that would take those snowfall totals a little bit further down, but then it re-energizes that snowfall on the north side of that low as we go into our Sunday. And you can see that it just remains in the area for most of Sunday. And that would put us in some of those higher end snowfall totals closer to maybe even 10 inches. Not out of the question, not likely, but most of us will probably pick up another at least 6 inches with this next system. That's why we have an alert day on Saturday. May have to go with an alert day on Sunday if the model I just showed you ends up being correct, because we would have more of that snowfall going into at least Sunday morning. But for right now, impactful day looks to be Saturday, especially in the morning with some of that heavier snowfall. We'll get nighttime snow Friday, and then check out the temperatures next week. All highs in the teens, lows right around 0, if not just below 0. Some of the wind chills could be definitely colder than that. It doesn't look like it's going to be super windy as we go into some of those colder days next week. But just kind of looking at the model in front of me, some wind chills, maybe Tuesday morning could be 15 to 20 degrees below zero is what some of the worst conditions could be. Would not be surprised if we see several locations with very cold wind chills for Monday night and also Tuesday night. And if you have any questions about this snowfall that we're talking about here, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Would love to give more detail on the snowfall amounts. I'll actually show you the in-house model. So the one that I just showed you that had the snow all the way through Sunday. Check out some of these snowfall totals. Now, this is not a likely occurrence. This is just one model's handling. So don't take these numbers as what is expected. But, you know, as we get into our Sunday afternoon, it has 6 to 8, 8 to 10, 10 to 12. So that would be the higher end snowfall totals. And then here's something more on the low end of things. As we look into our Sunday, you can see a lot of us, you know, some of those snowfall amounts getting into Sunday, 3 to 5, 4 to 6, 5 to 7, 6 to 8. So that would be more of the likelihood rather than what I just showed you, which was the higher end snowfall totals that we could see. All right, everyone, that's going to do it for me here on this Facebook Live. We'll continue to update you on Facebook, online, everywhere you kind of get information from us. We will have all the latest and greatest when it comes to the snowfall that is expected this weekend.